Conscious collaboration brings together entrepreneurs, changemakers, and thought leaders. We aim to highlight the people that embody the idea of aligned mind, body, and business. Each week, we share, discuss, and learn from the various experiences and ideas of our guest experts. Through our discovery, we find a path to an aligned mind, body, and business.
Hey, y'all. This is Emily.
And I'm Lisa, and we are the Conscious Collaboration. Hey, Emily.
Hey.
I bet you noticed I brought a friend with me today.
I did. I know. We're friends too already.
Yes, I know. It's been a great pre-chat. I just can't wait to unleash Miss Velva Lee Heraty, Dr.
I'm happy to be here.
Yay, so happy to see you. Looking good with the red lipstick on today, too. So we'll have to save this video for future.
Absolutely.
Everybody, conscious collaborators at home, I want to give you a little introduction to just how special our guest is today. She is celebrating the anniversary of her private practice as a Jungian Depth Psychologist, beginning her professional journey in Loyola University, woohoo, working in social work and specializing in dysfunctional family systems. So Miss Dr. Velva is very well versed in all things related to the unconscious and the conscious. And she did study at the C.G. Jung Institute in Evanston, Illinois. And it's been her journey to be a healer. And I know this very much firsthand. Velva and I met pre-COVID time, and I knew her as Dream Momma. And she hosted the coolest radio show where people wrote in their dreams. And Velva was able to give them some guidance based on Jungian principles. And we somehow stayed in the same circles and reconnected a few years ago. And our friendship has deepened, and I'm so grateful for it. I love all the wisdom that she brings. And now we're going to unleash her into everybody here. So Velva, thank you for being here.
Wait, I'm going to take my leash off.
It's off. It's off.
Yeah, all right.
Do you have red
symbol? We're talking about symbols now.
Yes.
So every time I hear an important symbol, I probably say something.
Okay. Tell us about leash, unleashing.
Well, leash means you're restricted.
Ah.
Your freedom is restricted. You're not your own person.
Ooh.
Okay. So that's a very strong symbol. And that's why in a lot of S&M, women have leashes on.
Oh, interesting.
Because men fantasize about women with a leash on. Because it's unconsciously, they wish all women were on leashes, that they could control them.
So what does it mean in the reverse when a man, because we have that S&M community in St. Petersburg. So I've seen where there's the expo downtown, there's quite a few men with leashes. What is
like the dominatrix style?
Yeah, it's a dominatrix symbol too.
Yeah, interesting.
But it's the universal symbol that, not any subculture, but the universal symbol of a leash is you're constrained.
Ooh, okay.
So if your leash comes off, you're free.
Yeah.
That may not be a good thing.
Yeah, in this case, it's a very good thing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I feel like it is an unleashing of all of the wisdom that has been kept to certain special audiences that we're able to share now with our conscious collaborators. And it's such, I love our conversations around symbolism.
Okay.
One of the conversations that we started inside of our closed and private Facebook group was around dreams and symbols within that. So when we shared with our collaborators within the Facebook group, what are dreams to you? Do they hold significance to you? A few people piped in.
Yes.
So speaking of symbols, what does it mean? Quite a few people said that they have a reoccurring dream of the same place or space or a house, not necessarily one they've ever been to before. What does that mean?
Okay, well, let me start out with the 3 rules of dreamwork.
Okay.
That'll help simplify a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
The first rule that to me is the most important, and I titled my book with this first rule of dreamwork as the dream belongs to the dreamer.
Beautiful.
Don't give it away. Don't let anybody, even me, even a professional, tell you what it means. Don't share it if it's important. It's better not to share it because other people suddenly are in your dream and you don't want them there. It's your dream. It's between you and yourself and your dream. Okay? Very, very important. The second rule, which I think is equally important, is, don't literalize the dream. Like a leash, we know what a leash looks like,
Right.
but symbolically, it doesn't look like constraint and freedom.
Right.
So don't literalize the dream. Many people have come to me in the past and said, oh my God, I think I slept with my brother.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh my God, Velva, I'm a bad person.
Yeah, that's not literal though.
No, it's not literal.
Yeah.
And so I immediately go into the symbolism of a brother, the symbolism of a parent. What does a brother really symbolize?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you this one case to give you a good example. Her brother symbolized, once she got down to it, she was sleeping with her brother psychologically because she drew and was involved in his energy and strength. He protected her on the playground at school.
Oh, yeah.
So she incorporated his energy. And when he showed up in a dream, it was like, okay, that's not my brother. Yeah, I'm not in bed. We're not going to have sex. But I needed his energy. I needed his strength. And when a figure like that comes to you in a dream, it's a signal to someone say, hey, where is your energy? Where is your strength?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you have it? Where is your ability to say no?
Right.
That's huge. We could do a whole show just on the word no. Okay?
Right.
I mean, we really could.
Yeah.
So setting boundaries, saying no, being the ability to be confrontational. We all are supposed to be sweet and kind and do what we're told. And we're raised most of the time that way. We're raised at our mother's knee, and what we learn there, we take into adulthood. So in this case, she wasn't sleeping with her, obviously she wasn't sleeping with her brother in real life, but she was afraid. This dream frightened her. The fact that she wasn't frightened was work. Why would that frighten you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought it meant, I said, does it mean that? Oh God, no, Velva, no, but what if, So the dream can take you into flights of fancy
Yeah.
that aren't real. So it's very important to stay in the here and now in a dream. So that's what we did. I said, okay, let's talk about what your brother symbolizes. He's your brother. He's your protector. She's telling me all this, but he takes care of her, walks her to school and all this stuff.
So you're able to guide through the questioning and really drill down to what it is to
the fact
release that.
Yes. And every time she said, well, when do you protect yourself? Where is your self-protection?
Yeah.
So it opened up, which is, by the way, a part of a developmental phase. You can stay a little girl and have somebody protect you. Mm-hmm. But part of growing up is being a woman is learning to protect herself. So this dream was telling her that, she's kind of dependent on her brother. And what she needed to do was develop her own protection because she's going out in the world and her brother's not coming along. Okay.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does make a lot of sense. Yeah. And I realize that you're talking about a female here. Is that a common female theme or does that cross female male?
I'll tell you the common themes that I've heard the most from women. Surprisingly common, that their teeth are falling out.
Yeah, I've never had that, but I have heard it a few times.
Yes, when I after about the third or fourth time, I thought, is this a trend or something? A dream trend? But
Mhm.
no, what does it symbolize? What happens when your teeth fall out in real life? Imagine your teeth suddenly falling out.
Afraid to open your mouth.
You're in the ballpark.
Mhm.
But what do teeth do? What is their purpose in
Chew,
life? Chew food.
chew to process food.
Chew food. Chew food.
Mhm.
They're powerful. Your jaws are powerful. Your teeth are powerful. How many times have we opened something with our teeth?
Right.
But when your teeth fall out, I've realized working with these different clients that they have a sense of powerlessness.
Mhm.
And very interesting, I had a client that was engaged to be married, and she started to have dreams of her teeth falling out
Hmm.
because her unconscious is already telling her she's going to be leashed, she's going to be helpless, she's going to lose power. Women
Mhm.
getting married always lose power. They always do because the laws are set up that way, the culture's set up that way. You're somebody's wife. This is the way it is. We have to work around that and understand how it affects us psychologically. That's why so many women have repressed anger and they become passive aggressive, which is the worst thing in the world
Mhm.
because it still doesn't allow them to vent their real feelings. So um, that's where symbols are very important. But the teeth are definitely, in my experience working with women, when they fall out, that means you're losing power somewhere in your life.
Wow. Yeah, a reoccurring dream that I hear often, and that I have myself and that friends, because one thing, Velva, is I broke rule number one from the moment I was born, because my household, it was common practice to talk to each other about our dreams as a family. So my mom and I still remember each other's dreams from when we were very little. And then I took that practice, and now my children and I, from the moment we wake up, and my kids, from the moment, oh, mom, I just had this dream and I woke up and this happened and blah, blah, blah. And a couple of my close friends, we have that type of conversation too. But I also just assumed that was the way everybody was because that's how I grew up. And then not until recently did I try to have those conversations with my boyfriend and Emily a few times, where not everybody has dreams, or not everybody carries an importance to them.
That's more like it. We dream about 4 to 6 times a night.
Is it
Everybody.
unhealthy to not? Is it unhealthy to remember your dreams because you're not getting quality sleep? Or
No, no. It, I wouldn't put anything to do with dreams. I would never put in a good or bad category.
Mhm.
Dreams just are. The third rule of dream work is
Yeah,
don't moralize a dream. Dreams
Mhm.
are neither bad nor good.
Yeah.
They just are.
They
They're,
just happen.
they're communication from your unconscious to your conscious. Now, I'll give you an example. At least I'm trying to tell you in my world, what it's like. I'll
Okay.
work a long time with somebody before they suddenly bring me a dream. That's a milestone in their therapy. It's not that they haven't had dreams, they
Mhm.
haven't trusted me enough to share them.
Oh, okay.
All right. And because dreams can be very provocative and they can scare you. In my world, nightmares are the best dreams to have
Mhm.
because they demonstrate your shadow. And without knowing your shadow, you're only half a person.
Right.
So I I always I don't say to them, I don't celebrate that they brought me a dream, but I know that our work is going to go faster now because
Mhm.
the trust is, the first thing somebody shows up in therapy, they have to get past is their distrust of authority figures. They never trusted their parents. Most of them are children of alcoholics. They've become parental caretakers. If you look at the adult children of alcoholic community, you'll see many, many women that chose not to have children. Why? Because they've already raised a family. They've raised their parents and their siblings. So it's that simple. But getting back to your sharing with your family, some of that is cultural.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a point where keeping your dreams close to your chest is also part of having boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
I put them in the sacred category.
Yeah.
So to me, you can share there's garden variety dreams. Like there's so many garden variety dreams that you can banter about. But the big dreams, the dreams that are significant, I say to people, never share them until you know what they mean.
Yeah.
Until you've worked on them, you've journaled on them, you've asked yourself the important questions. One question I never asked for a year or so when I started dreamwork, which totally caught me by surprise. I was working with a woman and she went on and on and on, and she said something and I said, what did you mean by that? She says, well, I had my pet monkey with me. I said, your pet bunny? She said, oh, yeah. I said, well, how old were you in the dream? And she was only like 5 in the dream. And I was thinking she was an adult through this whole time of the dream.
Wow. Yeah.
So my first question now to everybody is, how old are you in your dream? Right off the bat. I don't ever want to be surprised like that again.
Yeah. And so in addition to having the dreams about the places and spaces reoccurring, there's also like the tidal wave dream that happens a lot. Where there's like giant wave is coming, and sometimes it's coming, so everyone has to prepare, and sometimes you're just witnessing this wave coming. Is that
what
a common
does a tidal wave symbolize?
Overwhelm or death?
Destruction, though. In real life, it's a destruction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, obviously overwhelmed, but you can be overwhelmed in a good way too.
Yeah, yeah.
So a tidal wave it's got a powerful image of being overwhelmed and possibly dying.
Would you kind of put any natural disaster recurring dream in that same vein?
Yes. And
tornadoes,
the thing about
specifically
natural disaster dreams is you're really helpless. There's nothing you can do in them. You can't stop the tidal wave. You can't stop the mountain from falling on you. You can't stop the hurricane. So that's more of a systemic overwhelmness.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my God, I don't have food. It's more like, oh my God, I'm going to die. Or it's a survival dream.
Mm-hmm.
What is so overwhelming you that you're going to possibly die from it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And what could that possibly be?
Do you have those dreams too, Emily? The natural disaster dreams are like...
When I was younger, so the point you made a while ago actually applies to me. And I think I've told you this, that I did some things to improve my sleep quality over the last few years since the pandemic hit, really. And since then, I rarely remember any dreams. But prior to that, tornadoes would show up frequently for me, tornadoes specifically. And then just, other situations. I remember it was nightmarish at the time, but it's kind of funny to talk about. And this was one that I remember waking up from, and then when I would go back to sleep, it would return to the dream, and I was running from a T-Rex that wherever I was at was only barriered by like a wooden fence.
That's better than nothing.
Well, it wasn't very effective. And then but getting into these situations where you're trying to run in your dream, and then you know what happens when you're trying to run in your dream. It's like quicksand. So
Yeah.
that's
That's a good segue into something called active imagination.
Yeah.
Now we're going to take
one of those.
Well, you're going to do it. You're going to do it today, right now.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So go back to this dream. You're running,
Mm-hmm.
and a T-Rex is chasing you.
Mm-hmm.
You're terrified, and your heart is beating, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're terrified. What do you do next? In active imagination, what are your choices? Anything you can think of, anything.
I mean, what I would always do in the dreams is try to run. But do you mean I'm already running?
You're already running. Now, if you can do anything in the world, active imagination means you can imagine anything in the world.
I guess, get like a laser gun, have a laser gun appear or whatever neutralizes the T-Rex.
You could do that. You could do anything you want. And then when you have a nightmare, the next day, you sit down and you write the nightmare down, but you change the ending.
Okay.
That's called active imagination. Now, here's a good story about it. I had to teach dreamwork to 4 and 5-year-olds at a wellness conference up in Wisconsin years ago. And I knew that I couldn't do my normal thing because they're too young. So I created a little workbook, 3 pages, 3-page workbook. Matter of fact, I shouldn't give this idea away now that I'm thinking about it. All right, anyway, it's okay. I've trademarked it, but still, it's a great idea. So we get there, and there's a bunch of little kids and their parent moms mainly sitting around. And I hand them each this workbook. And at the first page is draw your monster, draw your dream monster. And they all sit down and they draw their dream monster. Except one little girl, she drew a flower. Lucky little girl. Anyway, they did that. And I said, okay, now, the second page, give your dream monster a name. What's the name of your dream monster? So they all did that. And the third page was if you could say anything you could say, what would you say to your dream monster? You're going to love this story. Who wants to tell us? One little boy shot up his hand. His dream monster was nasty looking, okay? His name was, I think, Ralph or something. It's just a common, ordinary name. But he actually stood up in this little group. He stood up and put his hands on his hips and said, pick on somebody your own size.
Oh.
Now, he empowered. You have no idea how powerful that was for him. The mother, about a week later, told me that he's been a changed boy because he found strength. Strength he didn't know he had. Nobody else in the circle said that. But he just, little 5-year-old with his hands on his hips saying, pick on somebody your own size. I figured, Alf, if he can do that, all of us can do it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Good for him.
Good for him. So these are the lessons that come when people are unleashed. Okay.
Is it true? What's your take on this? Because what I've heard and experienced also in any of these, scarier dreams is that you never actually die in the dream or you'll get right up to the point of being, falling or being seriously hurt or maimed or dying. And then it doesn't
You wake up.
The dream doesn't go there.
Yeah.
For one reason or another. So is that what? Yeah.
That's why I like active imagination.
Mm-hmm. Is that true? Is that true across the board that people don't die in their dreams?
I've never heard of anybody dying in their dreams because they will never die.
Mm-hmm.
This is they're talking to themselves. Mm-hmm. This is an essential inner communication. And there's all kinds of indicators and where the person is. And we don't have hours, for me to go in depth.
Sure.
But there's a lot of things about the person. And I say this to them. I said, well, listen, if you're dreaming this now, your unconscious is freeing you, unleashing you to have this dream. In other words, we have a very, very strong defense structure. Very strong, humans do. It starts when the kid breaks something and the mother says, who broke that vase? And the cat did it. It's denial. There's all these defenses that protect us from being victimized, being in harm's way, being hurt, all these different things. It's our defense structure. That's why I like intuition so much. It's the first line of defense. There's something weird about that guy, right? Mm-hmm. It's intuitive. Mm-hmm. That's why I think people should listen to their feelings more. So this defense structure won't give you a dream or a nightmare that you can't handle. That's why you never die, because you never die from yourself, okay? The dreams are your best friends. They bring you the truth. If you're ready to listen to it, you move up the developmental Maslow level.
Am I reaching here? I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Because the way you're talking about it, it makes me think of, if you're familiar with like a hormetic stressor, like exercise, where you your unconscious or your subconscious would like apply a stressor intentionally so that your cells or your energy sort of takes on a little bit of damage or stress in order to adapt and become stronger.
If it's about survival, yeah. Mm-hmm. Because our primary brain, our primal brain is survival. It's only two things people go into trauma about when they're young. Two things. Very simple to me. You either feel you're going to be banished from the tribe, you're banished, all right? Or you're going to not survive. You're going to be abandoned. You're going to wake up and your tribe is gone. Okay? It's happened to a very good client I had who I thought was pretty together until I found out his abandonment issues. He came home from school. This is a true story. He went away to college. And he came back and the family had moved and forgot to tell him.
Jeez.
Come on. That's nothing compared to some of the stuff I've heard, honest to God. But it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So
oops.
Yeah. So as children, we know we can't survive if we're not fed. One client said to me once, I know I'll make it now because I knew I would make it when I could reach the refrigerator door handle.
Oh.
Yeah, well, listen, yeah.
That's really tough to hear.
That's not uncommon. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is if we're abandoned, we die. If we're banished, we die. And those are primal fears. That's why tribe is important. Okay? To this day, we talk about who's my tribe,
Mm-hmm.
It's an archetype. The tribal member, the tribal belonging. We join all these organizations to be part of a tribe, to feel a sense of belonging. So these are the things that we bring into our nightmares. But I say to them, when the nightmare occurs and your shadow is chasing you, your shadow is chasing you. You have to face it and deal with it and own it, because only when you own your shadow will it turn into light. And guess what's in the shadow that most people don't understand? Guess really what's in the shadow? Naturally, all our mean, dark thoughts, right? But the shadow holds our creativity. You can't be creative without doing shadow work.
Mm-hmm.
So I say, okay, and the dream will never bring you something you can't handle. Never. You might not like it, but it's not gonna kill you. You'll never die, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But you should embrace it. My next book is going to be on dreamwork. I'm on nightmares. I've been studying nightmares now for the last 4 years. When I started realizing nightmares were more important in dreamwork than regular dreams. Because I knew then, I'm confident, I'm so confident of this. A dream will never bring you something you can't handle. You may not like it, which is not going to give you a psychotic break. Never.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to trust them implicitly. I do.
What about, and that makes sense. Very, very, very practically, that makes sense. But
Does it?
I think so. In
Okay.
your body or your being sending you, so to speak, a challenging dream, right?
Right.
In order to give you an opportunity, you would still have to take the opportunity to do some shadow work. That makes sense to me. But some of these dreams, and maybe for me, like the majority of dreams that I would actually remember are just weird. you know just weird stuff going on that you're like, okay, well, where do I even begin to
Well,
Extra
parse this?
processing.
all right, I will tell you. And then we're going to look at some archetypes, and I think we're running out of time. But I will tell you, the dream begins with a primary symbol. Okay? What one thing in the dream stands out? People have dreams of houses, right? The house is the primary symbol.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean to the person? And then we start exploring the house. We'll go from room to room to room. I've had clients draw houses, had clients draw their bedrooms, draw their closets, draw the places where trauma, kitchens, all these different places where their childhood, they experienced childhood trauma. Because once you draw it, once again, you take charge of it. It's like naming the monster,
Yeah.
drawing the monster. It becomes yours. You're not a victim anymore. And too many of us are victims of our traumas. They keep us leashed and harnessed instead of free to do whatever the hell we want.
Yeah.
Now, do you hear this sometimes? Because I know I've experienced where in a dream it's like, I know this is XYZ place, like something tells me that this, but it doesn't look like that, or what I
That's
mean,
okay.
like it's not what the place looks like in real life, or
But as long as you know, it doesn't matter.
Hmm.
Now, here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to gift you my book
Oh, lovely.
on
Thank
one
you.
condition,
Okay.
that you read it
Of course, of course.
and that you write a review for it, okay?
Will do.
Okay, so email me later, email me your mailing address, because you're clearly into this and you clearly have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are right in the book. That's why I wrote the book. I wrote the book for the mainstream person who doesn't speak psychobabble. I wrote the book to appeal to freshmen in high school
Mm-hmm.
on that level.
It's great.
And this book is still selling since 2007.
Where can our listeners get it while we're on that topic?
Well, they can get it. If they want it autographed, I can send them an autographed copy, but they would have to pay for the mailing, the postage. So it would be like $15. Well, actually more now. The postage just went up. The book is $12.99, so it's not an expensive book.
Excellent. Yeah.
They can order it through Amazon. It doesn't have to be autographed, but if they want an autograph, they can reach out to
Oh,
me.
cool. That's so nice.
Yeah. But I'm going to hold a picture up the day you go on the YouTube. Got a
Mhm.
gorgeous
Yeah.
cover.
It is gorgeous.
Look behind me.
Speaking of tidal waves.
You see the
It's got my
wall?
waves in it and the
Oh,
house.
Yeah.
That's the original painting.
I see that. Yeah.
And it's a local artist named Rebecca Lazarides. And she's a wonderful artist, wonderful. And you have a time for a story?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I've written a book. It was called When You Write a Book with a Publisher, but you do most of the work. It was way back when in 2006, 2007. I was looking for a book publisher, and my daughter, who's a lawyer and works in the creative field, she says, "Mom, don't waste your time anymore. They have publishers now that you can hire, and they'll do the technical work. You can just write your book."
Oh, yes. The self-publishing or the
Yeah, but it
collaborative
was
books.
collaborative. I forgot the term she used. I said, great. Took me a long time to write the book because I kept writing down. I would take chapters or sections to Toastmasters International. I belonged to 6 Toastmasters groups in Chicago.
Oh, cool.
And I would bring them there and read them aloud. And if the audience looked like this when I was reading, I knew I had to rewrite. So I had a built-in audience. Till finally I said, people were nodding, and I realized now I know how to make how to include it. I wanted it to be inclusive. This book was going to be my professional legacy. It still is. So anyway, I write this book. It's done. Now, of course, the publishers want, to publish. I said, well, let me find a cover. They said, oh, we'll find a cover. I said, no. So I go online like a mad woman looking for a cover for this book. Months go by. I looked everywhere. Now the publishers are ticked off at me. We got to go to press. Then they're going to fine me if I don't get a cover by a certain date. And all this pressure, I said, I don't care. It's got to be the right cover.
Yeah.
So my little doggy, Miss Nina, and I go to Kawa South. You're familiar with Kawa South? It's a
Great coffee shop. Yeah.
coffee shop a block and a half from where I live, and walk in, and they have monthly art shows there. A different artist comes in every month. Now I walk in and I see it on the wall. And I literally go, that's it. I'm like,
Lost all your hair.
But I ran on to see if it was sold. It wasn't sold. I went to the coffee lady. I said, who's this artist? I got to buy this painting. Give me her contact information. I called her. Now you're going to appreciate this call. I introduced myself. I said, I'm at Kawa South. I'm very interested in buying your painting. What does she say to me? Oh, it's not for sale.
Oh, no.
I said, wait a minute. Now I'm angry right away. Wait a minute. It's on the wall. It doesn't say not for sale. If you put it on the wall, isn't it for sale? Why did you put it on? I was mad at her. She says, are you there now? And I said, yes. She says, well, I'll come over. So I'm sitting there stewing in my coffee, right? And she walks in, this gorgeous woman. She says, I'm not going to sell it, but you can use my book cover, my painting, free of charge, whatever you want.
Wow.
I said, what's the catch? You know, she says, there is no catch. I just don't want to part with it yet. Guess she finally did notice.
Yeah.
But for years, I had on book bags, I had on t-shirts, I had on coffee mug, you know, that image. And she just gave it to me. Just gave it to me out of the kindness of her heart.
She had to make sure it was in the right place.
Yeah, apparently so. So that's how I got my cover. And I immediately called the publishers, and they're so happy. And they said, well, we'll have to approve it. And I said, no, you won't. I've already approved it.
It's approved.
Because I had a really great high definition picture of it. And that's how I got my cover.
Amazing.
It was all meant to be.
Was that image from a dream that she had? Is that why it was so important to her?
It was part of her life.
Because there's a very we were talking about those symbols in particular, the tidal waves and the house. And
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How cool. I love the cover. That's one of my favorite things. And I think it's so
everybody loves the cover.
Yeah.
I do too. I just love it. Now there it is on the wall.
Now it's part of your legacy story.
Yeah.
I love that, Velva. That's amazing.
So, you be patient. Don't settle. That's one of my little personal guidelines. Don't ever settle.
Don't force anything.
But pray for patience, because I have no patience. I have to pray for it.
Yeah,
come on.
I like that.
Come on.
Yes, that patience card comes up for Emily and I a lot in the I Ching when we're divining, and it's kind of like, I don't even want to read it.
For the house,
maybe not the strong suit of an air sign.
For candons, just remember the house symbolizes you.
Okay.
The primary symbol of you. Not your family, you.
Interesting.
And all the different rooms. And now maybe you're the kind of a person that puts things in categories or boxes or, what rooms. And if you draw your house, you decide, okay, then you find the room where the trauma occurred.
So interesting. In Feng Shui, we look at the house symbolism very similar in a way. There's some schools of thought where each level of the house represents a level of consciousness. Well, so I can see the rooms, the compartmentalizing of things being very nuanced part of that could help us analyze our own.
Well, stop and think about it. What rooms, what happens in the kitchen? What do kitchens symbolize? What do bathrooms symbolize? What do bedrooms symbolize? They're symbols in and of themselves.
Wow, that's pretty
Aren't
cool.
they?
So I'm reflecting back on my dream I had last night that I was going to tell you. We have some time. We can stretch it out a little because I want to hear about the archetypes too. But my dream last night was of an alien invasion, and my house, which I loved, by the way, was really cool. It was a high-rise condo, and it was the only safe spot for people to come to for refuge. So I opened my door to all these very friendly people I didn't know to come in, and it was a place for us to be safe from the alien invasion. They just kept coming in. I would close the door and then another one came in. It was like a party from the 90s. And I was thinking, wow, I don't really have enough food in here. I don't know. But people came in with food and drinks and whatever they could have. So my dream was my condo high rise, which I don't live in a condo or a high rise. I live in a beach cottage, very mid-century. But this was a very like high up place of safety.
Okay. So your work, what's your work?
Yeah. Feng Shui and design.
No. What's your work in the dream?
And my work in the dream,
Yeah.
was welcoming in the people to so we could all be safe.
No.
Opening the door.
No.
Survival?
Your work is finding out what the alien symbolizes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the alien symbolizes. Yeah, I mean, I would think the aliens. This is my interpretation of my own dream, but
Okay.
I mean, I actually really probably think it's probably alien invasion is what I was really thinking of, because in my dream I was looking up at the sky, and you know how you see like sometimes we used to just see stars in the sky, and now we see satellites. So we're like, is that a planet? No, it's moving. It's a satellite. And so I spent a lot of time looking at the stars. And I've seen Starlink go by, and that looks like a giant spaceship. That Starlink is very, when it flies over the beaches, is very ominous.
Yeah.
So I think it just very literally just means, in my dream, I made that into an alien invasion.
Okay. And what did you do about it? So once you identify the alien, and in your life, the alien is the future generations of electronics and spaceships
Maybe.
and the foreign people. Aliens are foreigners.
Yeah.
So all these people in the world that you're not in, I'm
Yeah.
not in.
Right.
I don't think you're in either, hon. I don't think any of us are in. We're not in this AI, electronic, advanced, computerized life where everything is done electronically. That's the aliens to our world. And we're not safe from them. And we're not. I don't think we're safe at all from them. Because A1 is going to make our heads over the generations, little tiny things. Our head is going to be the size of a peanut or a June pea, because we won't have to think anymore.
My mind is so goofy.
I'm serious.
You know what I'm thinking is,
What?
call Jeff Goldblum when the aliens invade.
Oh, yeah.
Or when the dinosaurs are chasing you. Call up Jeff Goldblum. He's got the answer.
Yeah.
I'm just goofy.
Emily resorts to dipping back into movies.
Humor at all costs.
And humor
and 90s references.
Yes.
At all costs.
Well,
Yeah,
I fall into the warrior archetype. That's where I go.
Okay. Well, tell us about these archetypes and what they may mean to us and our listeners, more of the visionary, entrepreneur, change makers and thought leaders.
Just had it.
I see Emily as a warrior archetype too.
I've seen that in
here's
shamanic experiences.
Here's a list of the primary archetypes. Now that's another thing. Everybody that buys my book, I will send them a complete list of what each archetype means.
Awesome.
Because archetypes are shadows and light. They both have elements of shadows and light. We have the good, benevolent king who takes care of the people in his kingdom. And then we have the evil king who's totally narcissistic and wants to take from his people. Pretty common archetype, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here's mother. Here, I'll just read them. So excuse me for reading.
Okay.
Nurture, comfort, and care. That's what she symbolizes. Father, authority, power and stability. Child, rebirth, salvation, innocence, playfulness. Hero, rescue, defend, save, and champion. The wise elder, knowledge, wisdom, guidance, and experience. The trickster, deception, trouble, manipulation. Faceless man or woman, that's an unknown part of the true self. Pure, P-U-E-R, that's a term that means a childish adult male. Boyish, immature, shallow. Maiden, young girl, virgin, innocent. Desirability, purity, and naivete. Rebel, anger, rebellion, challenge, freedom. Jester or clown, truth, cloaked in wit. Distraction, levity. There was a reason every court had a jester. And we have them, by the way, in corporate court. All of these primary symbols are in business too. They just have different names. Yeah. Okay. Seductress, beautiful, sexy, alluring, dangerous. She's got red shoes on.
Haha.
Of course she does.
Companion or spirit guide, mentor, caretaker, protector. Anonymous crowd usually represents the community, the culture, and its values. Warrior, to battle, to attack. Defend, vampire, death, intrigue, dangerous. A good exercise would be to watch The Wizard of Oz, as many archetypes appear in that film. Another great film to make a point is The Breakfast Club. Can't you just see the rebel, the jock, the nerd, and the weirdo? And the princess from that film? The next time you go to a film, look at the archetypes in it. Because films are loaded with archetypes. Another good exercise is to start a list of contemporary archetypes. Contemporary ones that aren't classical, like the foodie, the yuppie, the nerd. There are so many. Make a list and see if you can identify characteristics of modern archetypes on your list.
I'm going to add the basic bitch as like.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
That's what I'm adding. That's
okay.
Yeah. But like in a cute way, she's got her pumpkin latte and her black yogurt
in her Stanley cup.
and her Stanley cup. Yeah.
Well, that could be the princess bitch. That would fit with the princess too.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
These are so cool, Velva. I love this so much. Could we share this inside of the Conscious Collaboration Collective and have a little convo in there around it?
Sure. I won't be there. You want me to be there?
Yeah. Oh, not the chit chat, but we'll share a little post around it and talk about what people think of archetypes. Because I think that's just, if they buy your book and then they can learn a little bit more about it, will be really helpful to them in their lives and what they're doing in their life path.
Well, the important thing in a dream to bring closure here is to find the primary archetype in your dream. What thing or person stands out in your dream? Okay. Then that's the beginning. Now, chapter 11, the primary symbol as an archetype. I put 5 real dreams in the book. This was Tom's dream. He dreamed of a childhood friend. So I said, why that particular friend? Why now? What did that friend mean to you? What kind of a person was that friend? What characteristics did he have? What did she symbolize? How did you say goodbye? Why did you say goodbye? You have unfinished business with that friend. Did you meet somebody that reminded you of that friend? Seems like a lot of questions, but just remember how vital all the answers are, and we'll give you the best idea of what the issue is and why, after all these years, he dreamed of a friend. And guess, I'll tell you what it was. He was caught cheating.
Oh.
He was caught cheating in college.
Oh my gosh. Huh.
And the friend was the only friend he had. My client had a propensity to be dishonest, okay? His go-to, his escapism was to just lie his way out of stuff, con his way out of stuff. He's very slick, okay? But he stole this little boy he dreamed of had a better belt buckle in Boy Scouts than he did.
Huh.
And he stole the belt buckle. What he wanted was what his friend had. And what did his friend have? His friend has loving parents. His friend had better clothes than he. His friend had a better life than him. So he stole the belt buckle, not because it's a belt buckle, because it was a symbol of this little boy. And when he got caught stealing again, the dream came up. And there you go.
Oh.
The recording limit is over.
Oh, yeah, my note taker. That's my AI note taker, by the way. We text it out. In the world of AI assistants, that's so meaningful. What a really wonderful dream and good representation of archetypes and symbolism.
Well, you know now why I think they're so important.
They are. Yeah, I love this. And your book is such a treasure to have. Everyone should have it. It's inside my wisdom and knowledge area of my home, so I keep it there. So it's got a good place for me according to feng shui.
And thank you for having me.
Oh, it's
Yeah, we
really
could certainly have you back for more and more conversations.
I'll gladly come back.
Yeah, very valuable.
This is my mission. This is part of my mission, you know.
Yes, yeah, our missions align so beautifully, and we so very much love to have you in our tribes. And Emily, I know you're hopping inside of the spirit animal community as well too.
Yes.
So, Velva, where's the best place for people to reach you, or where do you prefer?
I think email. I'm trying to think of Dream Momma, DREAMMOMMA @gmail.com for everything related to the show here.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
We'll put that in the show notes too, so that people can access it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I think there's going to be so many meaningful conversations to be had inside of our tribes and communities, and many for years to come, I'm sure, as people are finding this episode that finds them at the exact right time.
The communities, I went up to Kohler, Wisconsin, because somebody called me. I did a presentation on dreams in Kohler, Wisconsin. It's another interesting story. I'll just tell it. It might get cut, but I don't care. I was invited to these women that run the Kohler Wellness Clinic, Kohler Wellness Spa in Kohler, Wisconsin, which has all this, Kohler makes all the faucets and sinks. And
Yes, of course.
They decided on Super Bowl Sunday, they decided they're going to have a spa day for women because the place is going to be dead, right?
Yeah.
This is Wisconsin, all right?
Right.
So they start all this marketing. Somebody calls me and says, Velva, this is perfect for you. So I say, absolutely, I'll do it. I was really excited about it. I said, I'll send you the hard copies for handouts. And she said, well, how many do you think? I said, I don't know. I use 30, maybe 40, should cover it. 300 women
Wow, amazing.
showed up to that conference. And they were totally freaked out. They didn't have anything. More than 50 things they needed to replenish everything. They needed to get hotel rooms for beyond what they had capacity. They needed all these things. But here's what came out of this. And I was one of, I think, 5 or 6 presenters. That Super Bowl Sunday has the highest incidence of spousal abuse than any day. Any day in the calendar. And these women couldn't get a way to get away from the aggression, the drinking, the obnoxiousness, the bullyingness, how all their men, regress to childish bullies, because that's what sports does to men, reduces their manliness. They live vicariously through sport. Mm-hmm. They weigh 200 pounds, but they're acting like they're going to catch a football, right? Come on. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And the women suffer and the children suffer. Mm-hmm. Not this isn't every man. This isn't, but this is what drove.
But that was a motivation in getting the women out of the house to this conference.
Yeah.
Wow.
But they didn't know that at the conference. Nobody knew this till they all showed up. And then suddenly you find out, what they're I couldn't wait to get away. And then you hear all these horrible stories,
Yeah. There's a tip to all the business owners out there that have brick and mortar as well, too. Or if you have women's oriented groups, and, gosh, Emily, we do as well, too.
Yes, but I have to step to the side for this one, being a huge football fan myself.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's not about the football. It's about the energy around it.
I suppose I had a different childhood in that regard. My father was a college football coach, so
there you go.
I grew up in that universe.
Yeah. But he wasn't in the living rooms of their home telling them to.
My dad was the opposite of a fan.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He could play football. And all those guys that came over were like family, right? From the football teams.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're talking to her.
It was it was a positive experience.
Yeah.
My daughter Maura loved sports. She'd get on a plane to go where the Bears were playing.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've done that for many an LSU game.
Yes. Well, I love it. I feel like I've seen several different versions of our archetypes here. And I think one takeaway I'm going to take with me is to pay attention to what my age is in my dream. That was a big one. So I will make a note. Yeah, that's a good takeaway. So thank you so much, Velva. I learned something every time that we get together, and let's do it again soon. We'll connect outside of this recording, and we'll have you back. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And remember, everybody who orders my book will get something. Not sure what yet.
Yeah, and that's what makes it special, right?
But they have to let me know that they heard it through you.
Okay, so make a note. So we will make sure your email's in the description. So everybody, you can find that inside of the description of this episode. And also you can find the information inside of the Conscious Collaboration Collective, our closed and private Facebook group. And if you ever have any questions, you can email me and Emily, and find us on Instagram, all the different places. So
to autograph it, it's $12.99 plus. Now the postage is about $5.
Oh man, that's a steal.
But I'll autograph it in my purple autograph.
Worth every penny.
It is. I love it. And the purple too. All right, ladies, next time we get together, we're wearing red heels.
Okay.
And
Yes.
okay.
Thank
all
you for
right.
having me. I really enjoyed this. I felt like we were a little mini tribe.
We are a mini
Yes.
tribe.
We are a mini
Yes. Yes. I love that. I love this. I love the way that our conversation took these courses, and it's exactly what we needed to hear at the right time. And we look forward to having you back again soon, Velva.
Okay.
Yes, very appreciative of your work and your time.
Thank you. Thank you. This was my mission, so thank you.
Oh, well, it truly shines. Well, thank you so much. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening, and we will talk to you in 5.
Talk to you in
Bye.
5. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank y'all so much for listening to our podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends so they can join our circle of collaboration on this journey. You can find us on Instagram at Conscious Collaboration Podcast, on Spotify, iTunes, and Audible, to name a few. Please join us next time for another deep dive into how you can live life in more alignment, mind, body, and business. Send us your questions and comments in our DMs or email us at consciouscollaborationpodcast@gmail.com. See you in 5 minutes.